We've got something really special today, guys, and it's not this Nissan Patrol. Even though I love them to pieces, it's not exactly a new car. What is a new car is the brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, Dan's been at the launch of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee. He spent 3 days driving it. He's grabbed one from the event. We're gonna have a close look at it now and compare it with this Patrol. I can't wait to take a look at it. And here he is. I thought I could hear him coming.
Express delivery, Evan, just for you, fresh from the Australian launch. The new Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
It's big.
It's massive, 200 millimeters longer.
Yep.
Tons of new technology. Now, I've already spent 3 days in this car, plenty of on-road and off-road, and I have to say, the early signs are pretty good.
Well, can I drive it? That's the big question. I want to jump in, take it for a spin.
All in good time, not just yet, because there's so much in this car, there's tons of technology, the interior is fantastic. I want to show you all of that before you get your hands on the key.
You're very excited. Just looking forward to driving that.
Evan, jump in and have a look at this.
So this is definitely not the Nissan Patrol, is it?
We couldn't be further from it. That thing feels about 1 billion years old, and that interior cabin looks like some kind of Saudi Arabian hotel lobby.
I think it was dated when it was released.
Yes, totally. Some of the interior quality and materials, it looks like they had The Apprentice on the day they did that.
Big time, big time.
This, however, couldn't be more different. Just look at it. Everything from the materials you see when you get in, the touch points, this lovely quality wood, and it's not covered in that horrible varnish like, well, is that even wood in the Patrol?
I don't know if it's plastic.
No, quite possibly.
I don't know what it is.
This though, just look at it. Everything, I love it. I can't remember the last time I felt this premium in a Jeep, and it's just got so much gear. So over there in front of you, you've got a 10.25 fully digital instrument cluster. There's another one in the middle here, full of loads of technology. And if you want to spend some extra cash, you can have a third digital instrument cluster for the passenger as well.
Wow, so something you really can tailor, option up, suit your needs. There's a lot of room there for versatility.
Absolutely right, but it doesn't stop there, because there's so much equipment. So I've got seat massager over here, so have you. We've got heated and ventilated seats up front. Second row, spoiled, they've got heated and ventilated seats as well. 12 USBs throughout the entire cabin.
12 USBs.
Half of them are USB-C, because this is the modern world we live in now. And there's loads of technology in here as well. Ever heard of a fam cam?
Absolutely have not.
Neither had I before 3 days ago.
Okay.
But this car has one, and it's used to monitor people in the second and third row, unruly children. And if I'm back there, you keep an eye on me as well, because obviously I'm out of control.
Well, the Patrol has a CD player.
What has a CD player anymore? This also has a night vision camera, and there's a few extras as well. Sunroof, okay, you'd accept another $2.5 for that.
Yep.
My only reservation with the interior is too much piano black. It's glossy and it looks terrible when the fingerprints get on
And it's going to show the dust if you go in the outback, things like that. So, hey, maybe this is a bit of an awkward phase in design, but this is a really nice place to be so far. What I want to know is how it performs. You know, is that 3.6 litre enough motor for a big car like this? Because that V8 boogies, absolutely hauls.
Now is finally the time for you to get the keys and see what this thing is all about. I'm going to jump in the Patrol and see if it's only a V8 engine and nothing else.
All right, let's go.
If you jump straight into the Nissan Patrol, you might not think anything is too bad. The interior is fairly benign and, for many people, inoffensive. But if you come out of the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee L, it really highlights just how dated this vehicle is looking. Let's start with that central information and entertainment screen. The last time I saw a screen that looked like that, I think it was a 1990s Game Boy Color. It's really showing up the whole interior. You don't have to go far from it to see this ancient switchgear, and it's very clumsy. And then the upholstery is looking very sort of smoker's lounge. This wood trim, which I'm still not sure if it is wood, fairly certain it's not, is a little bit tacky. And there's this strange pleating on the door trim. I don't know if it's supposed to look like that or if the glue's gone off already and it's starting to let go. Let's take a moment to remember that this car is now over $100,000. And for that, you don't get a head-up display. I've got good old analog gauges down here, and in between I've got a digital instrument cluster which looks like my smartwatch. It's really dated and honestly feeling its age way too much. But there is still a lot to like about this car. Under its updated shell, this car is essentially 10 years old. But the good thing about that means that any gremlins or mechanical issues have long since been worked out. And the Patrol is incredibly dependable and very trustworthy once you get it off-road. The automatic gearbox is beautifully tuned to that V8 for making the best use of all its grip off-road. And then we're on 18-inch wheels compared with the 21s on the Jeep, which means a lot more tyre sidewall and a little bit better behaviour. On-road, it does suffer. It feels like the ladder chassis. It doesn't have the refinement that the Jeep does. But there's one more thing that you can forgive it everything for, and it's what's under the bonnet. This car, of course, still has a lovely petrol V8, and that means heaps of grunt, and of course, that fantastic sound.
There's definitely some similarities between the Patrol and this new Grand Jeep Cherokee. All independent suspension, both family size wagons, this being a 7-seater, petrol motors as well, automatic gearboxes. And that's sort of where it ends, because as we said before, the Patrol is an old vehicle, but the way I look at it, it's proven. This is a brand new platform essentially, so we've got a lot to learn. Things I don't like straight off the bat are 21-inch wheels. I just think that's terrible for a four-wheel drive, and it's going to be really hard to find replacements. And also the towing capacity. It's reduced to 2,813 kilos over the 3,500 featured with the Patrol, so this is a lighter car, it's going to tow less, so that is a little bit of a limitation. Where this vehicle excels though, it's so much more refined inside. It's a better car. As well as features though, having this infotainment screen here, it takes away the need for having the million buttons like you find in the Patrol. Now we've had a few people climbing in and out of both vehicles today, and people look sad when they get out of this into the Patrol, because it sort of looks like a 90s Camry or a really old dated vehicle. So we do have a full-time four-wheel drive system, no locking differentials, but there is low range, which is brilliant to see in this model. And you've got terrain response modes, which I love, because if you're in rock, you put in rock mode, sand, you put in sand mode. It just makes it easy, but it makes the vehicle so capable. But overall, this is a sweet place to be. Really very excited to get behind the wheel with this car, because it just offers so many things for family motorists, and that's who's buying these four-wheel drives. Something you can drive to the shops every day of the week, do big trips on the highway, and then go head to the sand dunes on the weekend. Ticks a lot of boxes.
Hey Evan, how are you getting along with that lovely 3.6 Pentastar V6 versus my lovely big red-blooded V8?
Look, I'm not going to lie, I'm actually more impressed than I thought I would be, because that V8's a screamer, but the little Pentastar's doing a job.
I'm pleased to hear that, because I was as surprised as you were. I thought it's just going to be way undergunned for a car of that size and weight, but actually they've tuned the gearbox to use its torque high up in the rev range rather than like a diesel hunting those high gears. It's very vocal as well, like it makes quite a lot of noise, and it's not all bad noise. I actually quite like the sound it makes. That car was awesome on-road, but with that air suspension jack right up, has it compromised anything off-road?
It certainly has. I've actually dialed it down. I've got it on the second setting. I had it on the highest before just because we didn't want to damage the front end that sits quite low. It's pretty good. It's a little bit busy, busier than the Patrol. I found the Patrol, it's firm, but it's very compliant. But I think the versatility of an air suspension system far outweighs any negatives in terms of ride quality.
Now, we did give that car a bit of a hard time over the last 3 days on its national launch, and you may notice there's one or two pieces missing. Have you managed to keep everything else attached to that car so far, Evan?
Tried my best.
I jumped into the Patrol and instantly I'm finding its shortcomings quicker than ever.
This feels like putting on a new pair of your favourite shoes, if that makes any sense. As soon as you sit in it, it's sort of familiar, but just better. So much more comfortable, so much more stylish, so many more features and technology. It's a different level.
And most of that is included in the price. That's what's so amazing. Like if you go for the Summit Reserve, then you've got all of that technology for free. The only thing you have to pay extra for is that night vision camera and the head-up display and the sunroof. Other than that, it's pretty much included in the bottom line.
And look, well, that's a good thing. I think for $123,000, you'd expect that.
Evan, that thing doesn't have a locking diff, but it does have that 2-speed transfer box. How's it going on some of the harder stuff?
Look, I prefer the option of having a diff lock, but traction control technology is so good these days. In some cases, it makes diff locks obsolete. I've got some hate for saying that, but I believe it.
And that's not the trail-rated version. Jeep hasn't said whether they're going to do a Trackhawk or a Trailhawk version of it, but even in untrail-rated guys, that thing's doing incredibly well.
But is it V8 good? That's the question, because this V6 is obviously, it's carrying around a little bit less weight than the Patrol. It's going to use a little bit less fuel, How are you finding that V8?
I love it. It's the redeeming feature of this car, but I'm asking myself constantly, is it enough? And yes, it's got 2 more cylinders than the Jeep engine that you've got under your right foot, but they're both old engines. It's not like this is a brand spanking high-tech turbocharged V8. It's as old as the hills, just like the Pentastar. So in my mind, even though you've got a little bit more grunt, it's not quite enough to put it ahead of the Jeep.
I think we might need to have a bit of a robust discussion.
All right, let's find a good place to pull over and we'll make some hard decisions. So Evan, what's it to be?
It's a big decision here, and I don't think it's a very simple one. I think we really need to boil this down and think about the end user here, because the Patrol, look, it's dated, it's an old vehicle, but it's proven in Australia. A wonderful engine, rear diff lock, 3.5 ton towing capacity. It ticks a hell of a lot of boxes for someone like myself who wants to do the harder tracks, do the remote touring, and maybe hitch up a van. But this just sort of does everything really well. And it's a massive step forward in terms of refinement, comfort, features. It makes you feel special. It's a good thing.
It's so impressive. I was expecting big things for the new flagship. We don't get the Grand Wagoneer or the Wagoneer in Australia. But this for me has a bit of that soul. But the step up in luxury and comfort and just the quality is absolutely remarkable. And the engine wasn't quite as weak as I was expecting.
That was the big question we had leading into this. Is this 3.6 going to keep up with the big 5.6? And it did. It's a screamer. It's a good little motor.
What it came down to for me was the V8 in that engine is the star of the show. Is that a big enough advantage over the Jeep for it to win the day? And I have to say, it's not a massive performance advantage.
It's true. For me personally, I'd be buying the Patrol. You save a bit of money, which you can put towards accessories, and you can get more accessories for the Patrol as well. The other thing that is very limiting with this Grand Cherokee is good luck fitting bigger tyres due to the way the control arms are designed. You've got about that much space before you're going to hit. So that's a bit of a design fail from my point of view for the sort of driving I like to do. I'd love to hear your thoughts though.
For me, in the amount of off-roading I'm going to do, this ability is extraordinary and way exceeds anything I'm going to do. So what you're saying is, on this particular occasion, Evan, we're not going to be fighting over the keys.
We're not. No, I think I'll live in simplicity and comfort in my Patrol, and you can have the sleek, modern, refreshing design of this new Jeep. But we'd love to hear what you guys think, and thanks again for watching.